Hello, everyone, and today we start what could quite possibly be the hardest challenge run I have ever attempted on stream. Mario Odyssey Coinless, with the goal of reaching and beating Darker Side. This challenge run could be very difficult, because there's a lot of very difficult sections. So, without further ado, I guess, let's just get going. We're not. You cannot do that, newbie. And then, you know, apparently Mario just gets knocked off of the ship. Stayed up until 3 a.m. drawing last night. I mean, I don't think that's a complete waste of time. It's been a while since I've actually watched that cutscene. So, the rules, we cannot touch any regular coins, and also purple coins are not allowed, because I believe in making this challenge run extra difficult for me. Oh. But still, I mean... I like how you also just use the accented... Indeed, Leon. Now, this first kingdom should be real easy, unless I make some really silly mistakes. Ah, you have your Vietnamese keyboard on. We're just gonna avoid those enemies there, because if we kill enemies, we get coins. Boss fights are going to be very nerve-wracking for this challenge run. Much like how they were in the Starbitless run. Because a bunch of coins appear. There we go. We beat that pretty easily, though. So there are specific ones it does. That makes sense. And thank you for the lurk, Eros. Good morning to you as well. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to have all the save files have backup versions in case something goes wrong. Because something probably will go wrong. I know you live in Germany, so therefore it's currently, like, the afternoon for you, but where I live, it's still 10 a.m. You don't need to do the fake first, newbie, because you were just first regularly. That just kind of seems like a waste of points, to be honest, newbie. Unless if you want to remind everyone that you were, in fact, first. Okay, then. So normally you could do Dino Skip, but I'm pretty sure you cannot do Dino Skip Coinless, or at least it's very difficult. And I don't really know if that 2D section is viable either. Okay, let's just warp back there. So we have to do this kind of weird jump there. Congrats on being quote-unquote first. I'm pretty sure that it didn't save the coin, so I think we can just reload the file. Because it doesn't autosave you collecting coins necessarily. See, there we go. We're currently back at 0. You know, I practiced this jump right here. You're back to the office? Okay. See you later then. Now, one thing with this game is, so Cap and Cascade are pretty easy to do, but later kingdoms are not going to be as easy. You know, there's one kingdom in particular that I'm really worried about. If you're Leon, you probably already know which kingdom I'm most worried about. Right now. Interesting. So the kingdom I'm most worried about is Metro Kingdom. That's the kingdom I'm worried the most about. So because we're going to Darker Side, we're going to be getting more moons in most kingdoms than you necessarily need to leave. Because our goal is to get to 500 moons, and so because of that, I don't, you know, we have 5 moons right now, but And so we could leave, but I'm gonna go get some extra moons. Especially because getting world peace in kingdoms is very valuable. It gives you so many just extra moons. See, this is why you're careful and you pay attention to your surroundings. So that means we have to do everything all over again because I was a complete fool. This is why you make backups of your saves. So what we're gonna do then is we're gonna overwrite the file we just did, so we have to do everything we just did all over again. I don't think that's gonna help newbie. Especially because the game is itself in English. So yes, at the start of every single kingdom, I'm going to be making backups of my save file because there are far too many mistakes I can make that, as we just saw there. And I don't want to lose all of my progress and go all the way back to Cap Kingdom. Fortunately, we're still pretty early in the run. And then you're suggesting German. You might be able to do Dino Skip Coinless, but I don't know if you can, and I don't really care. Oh, you actually... I didn't know if you had any, thoughts on German nudity, but you approve of it. Now, because this isn't damageless, I can take as much damage to Madame Brutal as I want. No. I'm not gonna change the game language to anything else. Especially because German's one of the, would actually make this challenge take longer. Because, the Odyssey speedrunning community, they've timed how fast it takes for the text to scroll in each language, and I think German's one of the slowest. I like how my, the chat display on stream has Leon and Newbie being the same color. I think... unless if... I think that I might have to restart this. Let's see. I might be fine, but realistically, I'm probably gonna have to do this all over. Because of the fact that I was a fool. Yes. See, this is... the thing, is this game is not easy to do. There's just a lot of coins in places that in most other Mario games there wouldn't be. There's so many invisible coins, which is a problem. But honestly, those are not the reason why this challenge is going to be so difficult. No, Leon, I will never stream that level. I'll never be doing that on this. If I'm going to be doing 9-3, it's going to be off stream, because I don't know if I can deal with something that requires the use of multiple controllers like that and stream at the same time. I don't think that's something current me has the ability to do. So what I will say is, you know, it's definitely not as impossible as it used to be when it comes to the streaming side, but the problem now is I'm probably too rusty to do it. Plus, when I was attempting it, my strategies were very, very, very different than yours. No internet? I guess that could make sense. I have no idea. I don't know, Eros. I just stream whenever I can, really, or whenever I want to. For today, this was the most practical and reasonable time to do that. Sometimes I'm more like an afternoon streamer, sometimes I'm a morning one, like right now. Basically, yes, you like the morning streams because you're in Europe, so therefore these are the easiest ones to catch. Because for you right now, it would be... it's like 7:21 p.m. Yes. How was the Lost Luma disconnected from the intergalactic broadcast is my question. Because that message is sent whenever the bot connects. So that implies that the bot was disconnected. Yes, I'm actually using Joy-Cons for this playthrough. Because with Odyssey, at least, I actually prefer using Joy-Cons. Even though my normal preference is Pro Controller. Now, why do I subject myself to Joy-Cons for this game? The short answer is the down throw. Yes, I am playing on Switch 2. So I'm using my Switch 2 Joy-Cons for this. And because of the fact I'm using Joy-Cons, I'm actually using them detached. Because even though I think the grip is, you know, actually good... I still, when I'm playing with Joy-Cons, prefer them detached. Because that's just how I prefer things. I need to remember that the bushes are just going to give me money. You never play with Joy-Cons? I mean, fair. If you're on Switch 1, I get it. Because... I'm not the biggest fan of the Switch 1 Joy-Cons. The Switch 2 ones are actually pretty good. Which is the main reason I'm willing to use them for this game. I do agree with that. So if I'm playing like Mario Maker, I am using the Pro Controller 90% of the time. And the only time I'm using the Joy-Cons is if my Pro Controller is dead. You know, I'm waiting for the inevitable purple coin reset. Personally. Because I also don't allow the regional purples. The reason I'm not going in the 2D section is it's too risky, coinless. So even if I fail the jump over and over... I mean, I'm not playing on my main profile, but just look at how many hours I've put in this game. So I've learned a few happy maneuvers in my time. Now, I'm not playing this on my main profile because I have two 100% files on it, and I don't really want to erase them because I want to make sure I have all of my save files available. I mean, fair enough, I guess. I probably have more hours just on this profile and doing random nonsense. I don't think you know this, Leon, but back in like 2018, I got really interested in the speedrunning scene for this game. And to some degree still am even today. And the speedrun scene is what actually got me on Twitch in the first place. Because all of the speedrunners I was watching, they streamed their attempts on this site. And you know, one of the earliest people I ever followed was Fur, who at the time was doing a lot of Odyssey any percent speedruns. These days kind of just does Nintendo content and streams. He still does a lot of Mario Odyssey content though. Not as much, he doesn't do as much any percent stuff these days. There's also, and this is a... Yes, I've also seen Mario Wii speedruns, because, you know, back in my Luigi U speedrun days, when I was actually speedrunning that game myself, I saw a lot of Mario Wii speedruns as well, because the Luigi U speedrun scene overlapped a lot with the Mario Wii one. Well, all the new Super Mario Bros. Games do, really. I like how suddenly I just can't do this jump for some reason. Okay, I'm going to, by executive decision, override all of the save files. So I don't have to do Madame Brutal again? I guess I will still have to, but so I don't have to climb up again. Because now I have the checkpoint. Hmm. There we go. Remember, any bush is, we should assume it has a coin by default. Because if we don't, we're just gonna get ambushed by coins. And being ambushed by coins is a bad idea. You now have a physical copy of Wonder. I never got a physical copy of Wonder. I only have the digital one. Okay, I'm gonna... so you have a physical copy of Mario Wonder plus Bella Bell Park. Which we did do Bella Bell Park on stream. Now, here's a important, fact. So, world peace is not possible in this challenge run. So, we cannot achieve world peace. Which means we can't complete the story, because the festival in Metro Kingdom is not possible. Which, of all of the things that could make world peace impossible in the Coinless run, you mean to tell me it's the festival, the one non-boss fight? That just... I don't like that, but it's just how that works, I guess. We're gonna save here because sand is a giant kingdom. Now, do you technically need 5 separate versions of the save file? No, you don't. But that's what I prefer doing anyway. That makes sense. So I'm gonna plant this seed right now because it will probably take us more than 20 minutes to beat this kingdom. I might actually just save now so that so that the seed is actually planted. Employees only. We're not gonna do that one because that moon, the only way to get it is with an out of bounds clip. Believe it or not, it is possible to obtain, but not naturally. Yes, it is in fact a ninja coin. I'm just kind of getting random any percent moons. Remember, we cannot defeat any enemies, like, ever. Okay, my efforts to get the bird were unsuccessful. Ah, well, we can probably just get it later. So we can still do the, like, the way you get this moon in any percent. I think it's unfair how the enemies are allowed to hit us, but, you know, we can't hit them. You know, maybe they get a coin if they hit us. Yes, we're doing Jaxie skip. Yes, we're planting the other seed as well. Hello, Jade. And congrats on being quote-unquote first. So we're just starting some Mario Odyssey Coinless here today. This challenge has been a bit difficult so far, but we've made progress. However, that difficulty has been very much expected, so it is not a surprise. Yes. It's not only difficult just because there's a lot of coins, but anytime I kill an enemy, you get a coin. There's a lot of invisible coins in this game. I have to be careful what objects I break, because I'm pretty sure one of these other crates has a coin in them. There's coins everywhere. I mean, I spent like a good 20 minutes on Cascade Kingdom just because it is super... I don't know why I ground pounded that, but that was a bad idea. Like, a really bad idea to ground pound that thing. So let's do that again, and not ground pound the thing that is guaranteed to give me a coin. Alright, I hadn't gotten the... I've never learned how to do that trick, because I've seen it for like forever. Yeah, that's the stream avatar thing. I think you can actually change that if you're in the About Me panels on desktop. And don't ground pound that thing this time. So here's the other thing, Jade. We're not just trying to beat the game coinless. We're trying to get 500 moons to unlock the hardest level in the entire game. That is, darker side. Because, I don't value my own sanity enough. So there's 880 moons, roughly, before you get shop moons. And about 700 and something of those moons are possible. A number that... And I've done the math here, because as it turns out, people have figured this out. accounts for like 88% of the moons. And thank you for the follow. Follows are anonymous, but they are very much appreciated. I'm gonna save before I do this 2D section, because the 2D sections are always the most brutal. I purposefully avoided the one in Cascade because they're always more difficult. But we cannot avoid this one. Well, I guess there is a way of avoiding it, but that requires me to learn either IP clip or IP skip, and I'm not gonna learn either of those just for this challenge run. Oh wait, this is really easy. I just don't press the jump button and I'm fine. Oh, yeah, never mind. This actually is really, really difficult. So actually, it was a good thing we did this. Now, I don't think that auto-saved, but I'm not gonna take any chances that it did. Because Odyssey kind of can auto-save wherever. So I'm just going to override it entirely. This is a nice thing about having... Hello, Flopa. I don't know how to say your name, to be honest, but welcome on in. Yes, my rules do not allow me to get the regional purple coins. I specifically added, let me do the command here. But that is a good question, Jade. I was, in fact, aware. See, when I was preparing for this challenge run, I very much remembered that those coins existed. Specifically so that I could prohibit them. Not really, to be honest. I have to remember that I can't do that. That's not allowed. I can't, you know, go defeat any enemies because the enemies all have coins in them. I can't get any of the moons that involve buying stuff are impossible. All of them. Now, okay, that's not completely true, because there's one outfit sub area in Metro Kingdom, which I will probably do, and the only reason that one's possible is because you can clip out of bounds and enter that sub area anyway. And I'm really, really good at that particular clip, so I'm gonna do it. I think there is a way to climb this from the outside. Like, I know in post-pieced there is, but I don't remember the pre-pieced solution. Well, here's the problem, I'm not gonna have too much time because the ad breaks gonna be pretty soon, and I'm not gonna be attempting this through the ad break. Not gonna happen. Need to save on top of that file. But I'll try. And the only reason I'm doing the sub area is because I don't want to ever have to learn how to do IP cliff. Because that would make our lives easier. So this is what happens when you have no money. Absolutely nothing happens. At all. So, because the ads are going to be like right now, I will take a break and I will be back once they finish. So, see you all in a few minutes. And we are back. I will say that that does sound frustrating, Jade, that it changed your font size without your permission. Because here's the thing with how this works is in post-peace sand, climbing this from the outside is really easy. I've done that before. You know, in post-peace, but in pre-peace, I don't know if I've ever done it. Oh wait, no, that's my main account.
Super Mario Odyssey!
We'll do this one. I think the key for now might be skipping the Sand Kingdom story entirely. Or, you know, potentially learning IP clip, even though that would be something I would prefer not to do. I realize enough time has probably passed for me to get the seed moons, but I have no idea. We'll try this for like a few minutes. if that. I know the game says that you cannot brute force this, but I'll try. Made. Because I know that Let's Made for Mario has... Oh, I guess you act... So I've been looking at some stuff, and you do in fact have to climb the tower from the outside to get it, because of course you do. Because it would be too simple if you could just... So yeah, this is gonna be... So I'm probably just gonna not really attempt the story here. Which is a bit of a shame, because that is a lot of moons that are just locked. But honestly, it's probably for the best I don't even really attempt the Sand Kingdom story. At least not right now, it's not worth it. Maybe later. Because either I'm going to have to learn an out-of-bounds clip I've never done, or do a really difficult trick jump I've never done. Those are my two options, really. There is not a secret third option that exists. I wish there was. Because from what I've learned, there's no way to do the 2D section coinless. You can get the secret moon, though, but secret of the mural is kind of useless. So because of that, I'm gonna not bother. I love spin throws. They're so cool. Hello, my fellow star. You know, currently I'm just, stuck in Sand Kingdom because of the fact that, one, I keep making silly mistakes like that, and two, the story in this kingdom is very obnoxious. Because either I have to learn how to clip through the inverted pyramid, or I have to do a really difficult trick jump. Which, that's very fun. Because, I kind of banked on on getting world peace in as many locations as the game allowed me. Oh wait, that's bad. I need to be in a different file where I don't have coins. Because the whole point of the challenge run is I don't have any. So there we go. I'm just gonna overwrite everything now because I don't trust any of these files to be accurate. So, you know, so far this challenge has lived up to my expectations of being not easy. Doesn't help that I've made a lot of careless mistakes that... You know, there's only been one easy kingdom to this point. Or, you know, one kingdom I didn't make a bunch of silly mistakes in, and that was Cap Kingdom. But that's just because in Cap Kingdom, I don't have to worry about getting any moons. I'm sure if there were moons in Cap Kingdom, I would have figured out a way to mess it up. Well, moons that are available when you visit it the first time. Because I know there are moons in Cap Kingdom, but you have to revisit the kingdom for them to even exist. Now, ordinarily, I would try to go for world peace because of reasons, but because world peace isn't even possible to begin with, I'm just gonna ignore it. It's not really, in my mind, it's not worth bothering to get world peace when the festival just says it's not gonna happen. You know what? I'm gonna do this in the reverse order. I'm gonna do the moon, so we'll get the ones here first. And then we're going to teleport to here. Because, you know, maybe the coins will be easier to avoid if we do these moons, like, in the complete opposite order we've been doing them in. I have to remember that there's just there's a bush there. Because I never think about that when I play the game. Because normally I don't care what the coin counter does or says. So I just kind of let it be, even though I should be much... I shouldn't just, you know, start rolling into things. Because that is a great way to get coins on accident. I'm pretty sure you can do a moon clip there, and if you can get a moon clip, you could theoretically get employees only. But fortunately, there's another way to get that moon, because as it turns out, there's a much easier out-of-bounds clip that would exist if we could get the kingdom into post-peace. But, you know, we cannot get this kingdom into post-peace right now, because that requires really difficult things to take place. Can I save that? Or did I just collect the coin? Because if it's auto-saving, that is probably disaster. Sometimes you don't need to... We can just get away with reloading the file, but I don't think that that's possible here. Yeah, no. We have to start over, which is a bit annoying, but unfortunately that's how it be sometimes. You know, for most games, I only really have muscle memory with the Pro Controller, but this is one of those weird games where I can kind of play with both Pro Controller and Joy-Con, and it doesn't throw me off. There aren't that many games where that's a thing. Because using Joy-Cons would at least cause my skill level to noticeably decline. I still think because of the Switch 1 days, I'm better with this game with Pro Controller, but I think that that edge is disappearing. You know what, we'll do trace walking. You want to play Odyssey again? We're just gonna edit that out of the record, so, you know, I did not just... Okay, I actually did worse there. You know, if you play Odyssey again, you can then get your revenge on me for me beating your Koopa free running times. Or I guess one Koopa free running time. I would have to... Now, I can't currently access that because I'm not playing on my main profile right now. I'm playing on my alternate account. I think you can probably figure out why, Mineko. Why I would be playing on my secondary account for this challenge run. Because, you know, on my main profile, I have 200% save files. And this profile, I've done exactly nothing with. Or at least, I've not done anything that actually matters. And in fact, last night, while I was setting things up, I actually erased all of the save files that did exist on this file. So I completely wiped everything. So this is now legally the Coinless profile. We're doing Lake Kingdom first. Because I always do Lake Kingdom first in my profile, in my playthroughs. There's never a time that I do Wooded first. Now, each kingdom I do a save. It's a mandatory save. I can do additional saves if I want. And I want to make sure I get at least 2 extra moons in each kingdom. There we go. Yes, I do in fact use Joy-Cons for this game. Because you did in fact see me do a down throw. Which I've never understood. Why do you have to use Joy-Cons for the down throw? I've never understood why. I used to think that it was some IR sensor thing, but after the Switch 2, I'm real stumped. I don't think this game will ruin your Switch 2 Joy-Cons, because I'm using my Switch 2 Joy-Cons right now. I think the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are much better than the Switch 1 Joy-Cons, to be honest. So I think if you were to use them as your primary controller, they would fare a lot better. Now, we can do Captain Toad, but we just have to ground pound down the really deep hole. Or the really... How did Captain Toad even get all the way down here is my question. Apparently those enemies are like... We have to be really careful around them. I just realized, because it probably didn't save, so we can probably just re-enter it. We probably don't need to... Yeah, no, we can't. That's not how the universe works. Because sometimes it autosaves, and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends. Dory. We'll take. Okay, no. So there is not. Bing, ba-ding. Ding. So, you know, like tomorrow or Saturday, I don't know which exactly, I'm gonna be doing a Luigi U any percent speedrun stream because you guys managed to get us to 25,000 points for that community challenge, which I'm still a bit surprised that somehow that could happen. You know, it's been almost 2 years since the last time I even attempted a Luigi U speedrun on stream. You know, that wasn't that low percent nonsense I invented. Okay, I am gonna do this now because boss fights are a giant risk. So we need to make sure we save before them. Plus, we have a lot of moons already. Good night, Jade. Rango is one of the more difficult boss fights at this challenge. Now I'm worried it might spawn me in a coin, because that is a thing. Okay, we're... Fortunately, no. Now, there are some other moons we can get in Lake before we leave, because we're getting a little too close to the end of the game. I mean, not that Lake is particularly far, but I didn't think that Metro would be a part 2 or 3 kingdom. At least, you know, the... But even with what I'm doing now, there's still going to be quite a lot of post-game stuff. Because we still do have to get 500 moons, which... Okay, I'm just gonna exit the game and hope that I don't have those coins. Because it shouldn't have saved. Not that quickly. And here's a fun fact here for everyone. If we were playing on 1.0, so the day 1 version, I forgot I'm playing on the wrong profile. So if we were playing on 1.0, this challenge would be impossible. But on the most up-to-date versions of the game, it is possible to do this challenge. And that's because of some stuff in Bowser's Kingdom. I'm not going to explain that yet. When we get to Bowser's Kingdom, I will very much explain how and why that is. Because it is definitely interesting. Just for fun, I'm gonna do one shot at getting the painting moon, because you can do that. Okay, no, we did not get it. So that will be enough for this kingdom. Our next kingdom is going to be Wooded. Now, Wooded has a lot of moons, and so because of the fact that Sand Kingdom didn't go my way, I'm going to get basically all of the non-Deep Woods moons, because I don't really like Deep Woods. And so if I can avoid it, I probably will. I just realized that I almost accidentally risked the whole challenge run by not doing this. Ah, well, I guess we'll just have 2 moons to start. We're just answering that because I knew that these bushes had coins in them. That is just me being a complete fool. I need to remember that all of the bushes are going to be filled with money for some reason. Why that is? No idea. I guess the bushes are the best place to hide the money. I got a coin somehow. I don't how I got it. I don't know. But I did get a coin, so that means we have to restart. We're gonna do some flooded pipes. I don't think we can do the secret moon. Because that doesn't look possible to me. Now maybe the secret moon is possible, but... it's not worth me attempting it right now. That's one of those, what we call moons we get if we're desperate and we're at like 490 something. Or, 400 something moons. And we don't have any obvious moons left that are easy pickings. So yeah, let's see here. I think we can attempt... there are a few easy moons here we can try. Such as this Fire Bro. Oh wait, I just realized I somehow got a coin. So now we have to redo everything. Because I definitely didn't... oh right, yes, we cannot do that moon. That moon's impossible. Because you have to defeat an enemy. Why am I, that is me having, like, 3 IQ there. I should remember that enemies basically are guaranteed coins if I do anything to defeat them. So defeating enemies is counterproductive for me. So, with the ads scheduled in a minute, I'm gonna go take a break right now, and I will be back when the ads finish. So, see you all in a few minutes. And we are back. Remember that we cannot do anything that involves, like, defeating enemies. Because if we do that, we risk accidentally... So, since I know that the fire bro is not possible, let's get a moon that very much is. A moon that is gotten in the regular any % route. I don't know what that means. But, you know, welcome back, newbie. Considering you're East Coast, part of me wonders if, you know, your school day is now over. Oh. I'm gonna... Because I took my Joy-Con... I'm gonna put them back on. Because I didn't do that yet. There we go. Now the Joy-Cons are secured to me. You know, Newbie is continuing the involuntary Portuguese lessons. I mean, I could tell you to stop, Newbie, but that's gonna happen approximately never. All I say is, you know, keep going. I need to see what that is. I mean, fair enough, Newbie. If you say so, then I will believe it. Yes, Google Translate is a mandatory tab for stream now. I have to have it open. You know, I signed up for this somewhat because I have actively said that I allow this because I think it's kind of cool. You know, of course, newbie. You know, here we promote everyone's special interests, and for you, one of those special interests is languages. That's what we do in this house. I'm gonna save here because with this story moon, we do in fact have to defeat an enemy, and so I don't want to take any chances. Although it's a big one, so it probably won't just give us the coin directly, but spew all of them on the floor. See, this is why I did that, because I went directly into one of those coins. The road to Sky Garden. I need to figure out a way to disable that. That is true, yeah. Certain languages are gendered like that, so that is a thing. I need you to explain to me the second part of that message. Like, because I'm a little confused. You can't just, you know, give me some lore hint like that and then not tell me the whole story there. See, this is why I shouldn't attempt any of the crazy speedrun skips, because... There's 2 moons in this, so... I'm gonna do it. You know, at this point, even though it says we have 40 power moons, that is what we call a lie. Oh. That kind of makes sense then. Definitely a bizarre way to figure that out. I like how, you know, you say that they had who never taken an English class, which, I mean, I understand why. They live in a country where that's not a super commonly spoken language. I do kind of need to know, like, my main question is, why were you willing to deal with all that hassle just to interact with these streamers? Because I don't know if I would have been willing to deal with having to use Google Translate to communicate with streamers, unless that streamer was, like, someone I particularly liked. There aren't that many non-English streamers that I watch. And most of the time, those people at least will do English and whatever their other native languages too. Like, I don't think there's a scenario where I would just go into a Spanish-speaking stream, for example, and start watching it if it was just Spanish. So now we're gonna still do Torque Drift. Yeah, that is true. I mean, technically speaking, there is an English-speaking country closer to Brazil than that. Like, I'm all but certain of that. Because let me see here, because the Falkland Islands do exist. And if you do it to the Falkland Islands, it's only 1,300 miles. But you are correct that Brazil is pretty far away from any English-speaking location. But, I mean, I will give you credit. The Falkland Islands have, like, a population of, like, 10,000. Mm. Although I just realized that I'm also wrong, because Guyana exists, which borders Brazil. Like, it directly borders it, so... So we were both wrong. For different reasons. See, this is why I don't do anything related to my, history, social studies special interest, because that special interest deactivates anytime I'm on stream. Why am I doing this? I should just warp up there. Because I've gotten all the moons I need to get. Ah, that makes more sense. So you had already made the connection, and then they were basically made to switch. Maybe we can...
Super Mario Odyssey!
Path to the secret flower field. Okay. Because I don't want to do Speward again... So the other people you met, they only speak Portuguese. And so the simplest solution was for you to learn their language. I guess that does make sense. Hmm. There's a really cool jump you can do off this rocket. And then I just don't jump the right. That is, you know, what about Portuguese makes it better than those other two languages? You know, maybe the other thing is with Portuguese is you have a external reason to need to learn it, whereas with those other two, you might have just done it for the sake of doing it. I think that's another thing that probably makes you more inclined to do Portuguese, is that your mind can tell yourself you're doing it because, you know, you want to interact with those people. Okay, we'll not do that. We'll just do the rocket sub area. Oh, that's the first time we've done anything involving moon shards. Okay, I'm not gonna do this sub area. Yeah, and I believe that. And you know, I'm sure that you can tell me that all those Brazilian friends have actively helped you learn the language more than, you know, any other resource really could. You know, how dare you be that naughty, newbie? I think it's really silly how you can just stand in the wall there. Hold on 1 second, I need to... Maybe. I don't know if I agree with that entirely, but... I'm gonna file that under a maybe. An abbreviation for a while. So, in that case... where's my... There we go. You know, Newbie is currently the top of the leaderboard for deleted messages in this chat. Okay. I'll be honest, most of the time I don't really care too much about that, but just because it's a foreign language, I'm gonna be a bit more cautious. Because I don't want anything, let's just say, offensive posted in the chat, just for everyone's sake. I don't know about that, but... I'm gonna go... We're gonna go to Luncheon Kingdom quickly, because this does help us get... I like how you're trying to still claim to be an angel. I don't know about that one. I am not going to do this sub-area, because this sub-area looks like it would be obnoxious. So we're going to not do this one. Insert obligatory comment about your VIP badge anytime. I mean, who are we kidding? You very much deserve it, newbie. Even if sometimes there's a part of me that goes, who allowed that to happen? Yes. The agent of chaos, indeed. We need that, especially because the person who once occupied that role is no longer available for various reasons that I will not elaborate on. Well, I guess they made themselves not available, is the thing. I don't think that's you want to steal that. I'm gonna be honest, I think that was not the wisest idea. But I get what you're trying to do, sort of. You know, there's a method to the madness, I guess. You know, we've yet to have a flower coin reset. Which I'm a little surprised by, but there's also less of them. And they're kind of usually designed to be out of the way on purpose. So maybe it does make more sense. You're not supposed to be able to climb up the slope that way, but you just kind of can. This feels reminiscent of the backwards slope glitch in Mario Galaxy that I love to abuse to death. Which kind of makes sense, because Galaxy and Odyssey use the same game engine, sort of. No, we're not attempting this. That moon looks obnoxious to attempt. So I'm going to just not do it. Because this is the thing about this level that is a bit the most annoying, is the tanks are just, they like to wreak havoc for no reason. Maybe we don't with this, although it usually auto saves if we exit out of the file. No. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, that's what I got with that's what the machine translation said, is it translates to hour. I guess that makes sense. And you know, one thing, newbie, is that you're a agent of good chaos. The other person that had that title, I don't exactly know if the chaos they brought was net positive. Maybe in the beginning, but definitely not at the end. They definitely weren't positive at the end. Not that much. I need to... Okay, yeah. So we're still good. I'm gonna save right here because we're gonna be doing Torque Drift, and Torque Drift isn't exactly the easiest. Oh. You can't even do it correctly. No, it's not about you, newbie. You are net positive chaos. There was another person in this community that used to be an agent of chaos as well, but let's just say they're no longer welcome to be here for all of eternity. It's not about you. I was contrasting you with that individual. But you are right. The things I'm talking about are not the most pleasant. I am too... I don't know what the right word is for... I'm too out of practice to actually speak like any degree of Spanish. I'm not even gonna attempt it. So I'm going to go find some random moons that are just around and do those. Because I don't really want to do Cloud Kingdom yet. Because we only have a few minutes until the ads play. The ads aren't going to play like right this minute, but I don't want to be in the middle of that boss when the ads are going to inevitably run. Currently, my ban list is a bit bigger, but that's mostly just because bots have, in the past, tried to come into this channel to post nonsense. Which, I guess it only really half counts. Because, you know, bots aren't real people. True. I currently only have... I think I only have, like, one actual person banned. Maybe two. Because, you know, sometimes those cheap viewer bots will come in and try to promote their nonsense. And, you know, I don't exactly want cheap viewers. So, you know, go away, robots. Yes, exactly, Eros. That's all we want. I like to, commonly say, I want expensive viewers, not cheap ones. Because the existence of cheap viewers would imply that there are expensive ones. Like, unless if, I'm crazy. Which, I might be. I'm not gonna reject that idea. Okay, I don't want to get... We'll probably get, like, one more moon, and then we'll dump all them in the Odyssey. We'll go to Cloud, but we're not gonna do the boss before the ads. Yeah, no. So we missed Captain Toad, so we're just gonna go straight to the Odyssey. Oh, so it took them being banned for them to learn their lesson. All right. That sounds like a thing that would happen. It's not that difficult. My chat display shows which ones you're supposed to use. Let's just say we're not going to Metro Kingdom. I know that much. Yeah, we're in Cloud Kingdom. So... I'm gonna go take a break with the ads because they're going to start like right now, so see you all in a few minutes. There we go, and we're back. So we're not going to get any moons from Cloud because that's not really a thing we can do. I don't think this boss fight's problematic for any particular reason. Because I don't think there's any coins in this, at least not normally. There's one spot in this arena we cannot ground pound, because there's a Luigi hint art. But I think we should be fine. Because the Luigi spots are... I have to go pretty out of my way to hit them, and so because of that I won't. And we're going to be doing the last kingdom for today, because this will be, no matter what happens, I'm not advancing past Lost Kingdom. We're not... I might, like, put my moons in the Odyssey, but... Yes, we're doing Klepto Skip. Okay, no, we're not doing that. Because the whole point of this is to not collect those objects. So anything that involves collecting a lot of coins is a non-starter. I don't know, is it even possible to get up here? I'm not even gonna bother, honestly. Yeah, no, you can't do that. Yeah, that feels very, very, very strange. More value dives. You know, I do feel a little bit bad for Value that, at least in this game, his main legacy is when Mario doesn't dive towards Cappy, being the person who that phenomenon is named after. Because, you know, we should recognize Value for being the talented multi-Mario speedrunner that he is. He's had world records in most of the modern 3D Mario games at one point in time. They're not all at the same time. Most notably, he held the world record in Mario Galaxy, and or at least that's what he's most notable to me, because, you know, I'm very, very biased towards the Galaxy games. Unfortunately, you're a bit wiser than that. I know you don't have to necessarily kill Klepto, but my own sense of safety prefers that he's not alive. Especially since this isn't a speedrun necessarily. I need context, newbie. Because you can't just say something like that without explaining why. I'm sure you can get those moons in the crates, but I don't wanna... Oh. That makes more sense. Hmm. I did not know that that was a thing, and that more importantly, it was today. But I guess that makes sense. Okay, that is just me being like the least intelligent person of all time right there. I don't even know why I was thinking to do that. Like, obviously that's a terrible idea. I thought I had deactivated that command, but I guess I did not deactivate it, or maybe I re-enabled it for some reason. You just need to say the 2nd of April, and then it will be correct. Yes, you have. The Lost Luma, as my agent, will enforce all of my rules and opinions. Remember, in this game, poison's a one-hit... Okay. Absolutely nothing happened there. Everything is perfectly fine. I didn't just, proceed to make one of the silliest mistakes I've ever made. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the other reason why I don't like month, day, year, is it only really works in English. In most other languages, month, day, year just does not work. There's a few year, month, day places that use year, month, day, but that's it, really. To me, you should either use day, month, year, or year, month, day. Those are the only two acceptable formats. Month, day, year is just a monstrosity that shouldn't exist. And I will admit, I do actually use both depending on the context. I need to... What is that? Let me see. Untrue. That is not at all what I was trying to say. You can't just put words in my mouth, newbie. That's not how that works. See, here's the problem. Because of the fact that I am an English-only person, the command only accounts for English. It does not account for other languages. I'm going to, out of spite, put the Portuguese version in the already really long command list. That is if I remember to do it, because that is not a guaranteed event that I would actually remember to do that. Because that it sounds like the kind of thing I would forget to do. Avoiding... 2D sections are just some of the worst. Yes! This is what I was trying to avoid. Was, you know, Klepto stealing Cappy. You know, I'll at least get this moon, since you all but forced me to. Let me... That is not... Well, it's not that I did it for your benefit. It's that at the time I made that command, there was no reason for me to anticipate that there would be a viewer of mine that would speak Portuguese in my chat sometimes. So it would have been pointless, for lack of a better word. Because it would have been like, well, is someone... Okay, that is why would I can't just press the Y button or the A button over and over, because this is on my second profile, Known Star. You know, why is my alt account Known Star on the Switch? Good question.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay. Now, no matter what happens, Lost will be our last kingdom, because, you know, Metro is, let's just say, you know, very difficult. It's like the most obnoxious kingdom in this whole challenge run. And Night Metro especially.
Super Mario Odyssey.
And so I don't think that starting Metro this late into stream is a good idea. Maybe I have been over-exaggerating. It's not that there aren't people that speak both languages, it's just I didn't know anyone that did when I made the command. Because I don't think I knew you at the time. And if I did know you, you weren't in this channel. So... And I didn't know you to speak Portuguese either, necessarily. Yeah. You've been AFK for a while? No worries, Leon. We're probably going to be done for today relatively soon. I'm just kind of getting whatever easily available moons exist in Lost. And I think Lost will be the point we call it a stream once we're done with it. I know we could be done with Lost right now. But, you know, we're not just trying to beat the game. We're trying to get 500 moons. So, you know, 500 moons for Darker Side. So, you know, getting some extra moons each kingdom is to our benefit. Okay, that just missed horribly. We did that like minimum captures style. Now, one downside with this is we can't really get to the top, at least I don't know of a way to get up there. The reason we can't really get up to the top is because if we hit that switch, even if it would make this easier, it would reveal about 5 million coins, and so thus that is not an option. Redeeming the fake first again. And hydrate? I can do that one. I think that's how you're supposed to get this moon. Because I've usually just gotten it with the, you know, intentional death strat. I'm trying to think, what other moons are there that we can get that don't involve going all the way to the top?
Super Mario!
I'm going to reject your redemption because that is not really a thing. So I'm just gonna give your points back. This game doesn't really let you choose characters. Unless if your intention is for me to, for some reason, play in two-player mode, in which case, no. That is the only way that I'll be able to do anything. Is if I interpreted that as a request for two-player mode. I don't think there's a moon here. Yeah, there isn't. I figured it. My brain remembered where there was a moon. Next stream is going to be the Luigi U one, but I think you should still pause the character redeem anyway, because for various reasons, that's not a practical redemption. No matter which version of Luigi U I do. If I do the Switch version, it doesn't work. If I do the Wii U version, it absolutely doesn't work. It doesn't matter which version I play. Oh! So, I don't know if you know this, Leon, but there was a community challenge to get 25,000 channel points. And so, if the community was able to get that, I did a stream where I do any percent speedrun attempts. So that will probably be tomorrow or Saturday. I don't know which day. You paused it? Yeah, that redeem should probably be deactivated because none of the challenge runs we can do right now really are the most receptive to character switching.
Super Mario Odyssey!
Galaxy 2, maybe if once we beat the game, it will be more receptive. But until that point, it's not really going to be that helpful. And even then, it's going to be pretty much a linear choice of, do you want Mario or do you want Luigi? So, not exactly inspiring. When I stream, you expect me to be predictable? Nope. I don't know if that moon's possible, to be honest. I think what I'm just gonna do is I am going to put all of the moons in the Odyssey, we'll see Metro Kingdom, and that will be the end of the stream.
Super Mario Odyssey!
I have to remember, this is my I'm on my alt account, not my main account. So if you see the sailor outfit, you know I picked the wrong one. We will start next stream right here in Metro Kingdom, I guess. Because Metro Kingdom is, let's just say, very difficult. Oh, yes. So, yes, you do keep your star count. That is the channel points. I just call them stars in this channel because... So next stream, we're going to be starting on this level. So we already have 87 moons. I think we technically have 88 because of Luncheon Kingdom, because painting shenanigans. So, with that, I'm gonna go see a potential raid target. Okay, I think I know who we could do. And you're gonna disable my PNGTuber as the stream ends. So we need to we've rated this person before and they've rated us twice in the last few weeks. So we're going to raid Cupid. They're doing some Paper Mario, so let's go say hi to them. So until next time, bye!